Welcome to Hallownest, a diverse land of bugs, gods, and their gruesome offspring. 157 creatures, 46 stranded grubs, 19 fundamentally different areas, and exactly one hope to save the kingdom. You. You are the kingdom's one hope for salvation. Salvation from the plague that drains the people of their very essence. The game's story is hidden behind a thick shroud of ambiguity and a literal shroud of webs in many locations. But due to the general lack of direct story, every discovery feels more and more rewarding. This is why Hollow Knight is one of the greatest games of all time. There will be massive spoilers for Hollow Knight, so if you haven't played it, go buy it now. It's the best $15 you'll ever spend. Upon first opening Hollow Knight, you're serenaded by a gentle piano melody, aptly titled Hollow Knight, whose leitmotif, or recurring music phase, will become a recognizable theme during the more substantial parts of your adventure. After adjusting your settings and creating a new save, a cutscene plays introducing your character. Your mute little cutie. Just look at him. Who would have thought he could kill a lamp fetishizing moth god? Upon the cutscene's finish, you're instantly dropped into an unknown area. A gaping pit. When I first got here, I just thought, what the hell do I do? Which was one of my most uttered phrases just behind, what the hell was that? Yeah, some bosses get annoying. Don't worry though, it only makes your victory sweeter. After figuring out where to go and learning the controls, you enter Dirtmouth, a small town located just above the kingdom, and your main hub in Hallownest. In the beginning, you're greeted by just one NPC, Elderbug. But after journeying throughout the underground, you will soon expand the town to include a plethora of unique individuals, all with a different story to share. The exchange between characters is charming, as your character isn't capable of speech, so it's always interesting to see how their conversations will work. On the surface, Hollow Knight's combat is as simple as slice, dice, and jump, but an array of later acquired skills expand upon this into the late game. You can double jump, dash, fly horizontally, and maneuver in plenty of ways, including pogoing? On the topic of combat, all Hollow Knight bugs have their own moveset, a unique set of attacks, abilities, and movement patterns that are destined to make no two encounters the same. This uniqueness and freedom to fight however you want, be it spell spamming, melee mashing, or a healthy mix, there's always a new way to combat the expansive list of enemies. Leave it to a couple Aussies to make wacky bugs the most enjoyable gameplay experience I've ever had. There are not enough positive things that I can say about Hollow Knight's world building and the atmosphere that it creates in every corner of Hallownest. Be it the dark and decrepit area of Deepnest, or the lush and vibrant Green Path. Both areas have accommodating ambience, sound effects, and enemies. Just please don't make me think of Deepnest. Every area has a suiting soundtrack, fittingly and beautifully crafted by Christopher Larkin, an independent musician based in Adelaide, South Australia. These songs are also the backing track for this video, and I'll leave a link to his Spotify page in the comments. The soundtrack, while beautiful, is not the only thing that makes Hollow Knight's atmosphere engaging. There is an assortment of sounds, both diegetic and non-diegetic, that add to the immersion. Grunts, rustling leaves, and getting spat on by those insufferable primal aspid little As I was saying, many sounds would be heard by the knight, making them diegetic, whereas noises such as the soundtrack are non-diegetic because the knight would not be able to hear them. The balance of these sounds is well maintained, as there is never so much that it's overwhelming, but never so little that you will fall asleep. Whether you're in the White Palace listening to the saw blades and the gentle melody, or getting decimated by a cigarette-addicted goth who just escaped 2012, you're guaranteed to be entertained and intrigued by your surroundings. At first glance, Hollow Knight's story is rather barren. There's nothing pushed directly into your face, and there's no forced progression, so I wouldn't blame you for not realizing that there's any story at all. Hollow Knight, however, does have a rich and diverse story, which is why it's so disappointing that it has to be hidden away. While many people, such as Mossbag, have been able to uncover a vast majority of the game's lore, there's still lots to learn and even more to speculate about. Some things I have no idea about include, is Hornet made of void? What in the Hallownest is void? And most importantly, will Aaron ever play Hollow Knight? We may never learn the answers to any of these, but regardless of that, looking at obscure lore tablets or admiring the Vitruvian grub are still good ways to broaden your mind and loosen your thinking. The bosses. Oh, the bosses. They may have made me punch my desk dozens of times throughout my first playthrough, but that only made their inevitable defeat all the more satisfying. Every boss is designed with its own purpose, its own reason to exist. They vary greatly in complexity, from the simplicity that is the massive Moss Charger, to the frantic pace of the Nightmare King. But what seems hard when you start out can be flawlessly crushed by the endgame. The brilliant part is that it's not just based on the knight's strength, but on your skill as a player. The game's progression system was eloquently designed. There is no massive leap in difficulty, excluding the Pantheon of Hallownest, that will leave you stranded or begging for mercy. Sure, new abilities will make certain boss fights easier, but there's never a time in which you're forced to skip a boss. Everything's achievable, even the Absolute Radiance. Trust me, I've done it, after 5 hours of individual boss practice and full run-throughs. To conclude this video, Hollow Knight is not just a game of slice, die, cry, repeat. It embraces the Metroidvania format and gives it a unique feeling. A desolate yet elegant world with its own art style and unprecedented quality. There's always somewhere new to explore, a new challenge to overcome, and enemies to defeat. Its rich yet hidden story is beautifully made, albeit rather upsetting, and the final Radiance fight, accompanied by its strong soundtrack, makes the battle the most momentous thing I've ever experienced in a video game. Nothing is out of place. It all has a purpose that intertwines with your experience. There's no fat on this metaphorical steak. It is $15 of gourmet Wagyu beef, and every second spent is a second that you will not regret. Thank you for watching.